welcome back to the Nathan Trimbach Show. I'm your host, Nathan Trimbach, obviously. And just wanted to come back and do a continuation video of the last one where I was reviewing some old photos from about 15 years ago when I went to Italy and Greece. Last video was about being in Italy, and this one is showing the Greece photos. The majority of the photos I took was on a Nikon N65. This is a little bit newer model, the N80, primarily with some Fuji Superia Extra 400 for most of that trip. I ran out of film eventually and had to go with some Kodak Gold 200. And so just wanted to share some of my experiences and favorite photos from the trip. During the last couple years through the pandemic, I've just been reviewing old footage, old film, old photography, and kind of reliving it. And especially now that I'm getting back into film photography, I'm excited to share some of my, honestly seeing some of it, sharing some of it for the first time because the internet didn't really exist in its current form in 2005. So without any added jargon, I will get into these photos. So the trip continues, as you saw from the previous video, that we took a cruise ship within the what I had said the Aegean Sea. Come to find out later, I was mistaken about that. So it was actually the Ionian Sea, but wanted to show some photos of that experience. And so the night before, once again, we were dancing and saw a beautiful sunset and went to bed. And the next morning we saw these beautiful islands just come out of nowhere, out of the sea. You'll see these big cliffs, these big mountains just coming out of the middle of the sea. Now then, when we arrived at our destination, we got off of this ferry and it was just this beautiful blue water. You see the motorcycle and you see all the cars getting off. You have the lovely boxy design from the 2000s and late 90s. So feeling real special here. Now, the first city or the first town that we went to on this trip we went to Olympia, Greece, which is where a lot of the Olympics originated from. So you'll see here some of the columns that were left over, and you'll see these were big columns. They were basically about as wide as a person if they were standing straight up on them. So pretty amazing. And this we go into the where a lot of the games were held, and this was our tour guide showing the different track and running and different Olympic sports that would take place here. And within, they actually had like a museum where they had a lot of different marble statues and sculptures, some of them unearthed and in relatively good condition and others in not great condition. As you can see here, there's a lot of pieces missing. So the next place, I actually loved this place, was Tolo, Greece, and it was this little bay town. I just remember stopping there. I know we stayed a night there, but I don't know why. I think it was kind of in the middle of the country. It wasn't near any of the places we were going to, but it was a beautiful little town. Just walking around, you would see these beautiful archways. You'd see all the beautiful flowers. This was the hotel I remember staying in. It was just the classic white and blue look all throughout the country, especially in the Greek islands. Here's some more shots of kind of the hotel area, and this beach was just absolutely beautiful. You could see clear through the water through all these pebbles, and it was just absolutely gorgeous. And just you see these two kids playing on the beach. Beautiful blue ocean, blue water. And this is kind of setting up my favorite shot, honestly, of the entire trip. I've never had it printed up, but I need to get it printed up. But here it is. Here's my favorite shot from the whole entire trip. This shot of the boat. I just love this shot. I think it's this lone boat in the middle of the ocean. So the next place was Mycenae, and I think that's how I pronounce it, but I could be absolutely wrong. So don't make a big Mycenae out of it. Anyways, so this was a small ancient town. You'll see that this is kind of the vibe of the Greek area that we were in. You'll just see lots of these skinny, tall, kind of pine-looking type trees, and just a very kind of desertish landscape, ripe for making grapes and olives. And I don't remember what this is called, but I remember it was part of the tour, and this is a view from both the outside and inside of this tomb, and I thought it was a pretty cool spot. So next we go into Athens. Now Athens is pretty cool. I personally really loved Greece. Italy was really cool too, but I think what was really cool about Greece even more is I felt like it was even more ancient, and obviously studying some of the ancient history, Greek philosophy, Greek mythology and stuff. It was really cool to see it in person. Like so many of these things came from this place. One of the first places we went to this palace, and there were all these guards there, and there were also all these pigeons just kind of hanging out, jumping on people, being fed. Here's the palace guards just standing there. And then we went to this, I don't know where it was. I mean, again, I was in my 20s and don't remember all the places we went to, but this was this cool spot on top of the hill in Athens, and just loved the chair here, the white all over. It was a beautiful view. Had to capture all the tables and chairs in their classic white and blue. And now here is kind of the remains of so many of these amphitheaters you'd see all over the place, especially in Greece. And what was cool was you had the modern one right next to it. You had pieces of kind of the old theater there, but they kind of had redone it. And what was so fascinating was actually like the guys down at the bottom of the theater, you could actually hear them crystal clear when they were talking down there. So we have all this technology, all this microphones and amplifiers and all these things, but they designed it so well that you could hear perfectly fine when they were like barely talking at the bottom of the stage. So then up here is on the top, this is called the Acropolis, and you'll see the people standing guard, not letting people hear. But I love this shot where it's like, I like shots where you have kind of this contrast of kind of back and forth here of the right side and left side, like splitting the frame into left and right rather than background, foreground, and kind of middle section. And I don't remember what these statues were called, but they were really amazing to see that these were like, instead of regular columns you would see these Greek goddesses here, and some lovely night shots. And this was the view from one of the hotels we stayed at, and atop there is the Acropolis on the top. So last but not least, my favorite place on the entire trip was definitely Delphi. This is where the Delphic Oracle came from, and just beautiful town, beautiful, kind of seated up high, and I just loved the architecture. And this was definitely kind of towards the end of the trip, and it was a great way to cap off the trip. So here is another kind of Olympic mini stadium. This was for, I think, the longer sprints, so they would run all the way down, and you could see you would see the room to be able to sit in the stands. And here is probably my favorite photo from this part of the trip. You could just see from way up high these amphitheater and just the beautiful mountains and landscape. It was absolutely breathtaking. Here's kind of the lower view from that same spot, kind of looking up. And what you see here is kind of there's this little temple to the right here. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is where the Delphic Oracle kind of came from. So there you have it. That was the journey. The majority of these shots, again, were kind of taken on the Fuji Superia Extra 400. And then I ran out of film in Athens. So all the rest of, pretty much most of Athens and Delphi were actually shot on Kodak Gold 200. Thanks again for watching my YouTube video. I'm going to actually start making more of these. I know I've said that before, but I will start making more of these because I've actually been shooting a lot more film lately, and not just on 35. I actually have some medium format film cameras, and I've been shooting a lot basically since kind of the middle of 2020 up until now. I have been shooting hundreds of rolls. So I'm excited to share those with you, and stay tuned for the next video. Goodbye. Oppa! Oh my God, I thought for a second I wasn't recording.